Klamath Falls, Oregon, at Klamath Lake. I got my buddy Chad from Hookup Baits here. We're fishing together, we're throwing hookup baits. He figured this pattern out a couple years ago, and he invited us to come up, show us around, show us how the hookup baits work. So yeah, I got Rylan, myself, Chad, gonna be throwing hookup baits today. I'm getting all the electronics set up. Oh, he's already got fish. Of course.
Second cast.
I don't even have my electronics.
Feeling pretty awesome now. 2 casts in, we're on. About average.
Well, that didn't take long.
Just like that.
That's twice the size of my TV.
Haven't got my electric motor in the water yet.
Yeah, this is a Klamath Lake red band rainbow. This is, like I said, about the average size of catcher. Probably a 5-pound fish. Totally
On the new
native,
eyes.
totally natural. Check that out.
First morning on the water, that sun's just starting to peek across the mountain. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm kind of taking it all in while I'm getting stuff ready. You know, Chad's already hooked up. Typically it takes a little while to catch fish, right? Like you just start making casts, start figuring things out. But this morning, nope. About first or second cast, Chad's on. I gotta get my stuff together.
Waking up on, oh, look at that big back come up out of the water. Oh yeah, right there.
So I hurried my pace up a little bit, make a cast, make another cast, and right away I'm hooked up. And it's to a big fish right off the bat.
Gotta play these things a little bit on the loose side with such light leader. Running 6 and 8, that's one of the tricks that Chad does all the time. He runs a lot lighter line than most people.
And we got my little buddy Rylan with me. He's a mini Dennis in some of the commercials we've done in fishing. So he hasn't been on an official TV show trip, but he's filmed with me a few times. And I talked his parents into letting him miss the first week of school to come film Wild Fish, Wild Places. So check him out. He's a stud fisherman.
Rylan!
It's wet from the net.
Wet from the net.
Brian, does that get you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Get your stuff out, or you gonna keep eating?
I'm gonna keep eating first. I'm a crazy fisherman, and Dennis is a crazy fisherman. So it just all worked out.
Sure enough, we've already got 3 big rainbows to the boat. And like I said, Chad's been telling me he had this thing figured out, and he wasn't kidding. So we've been, I think his second cast or first cast, he got one. I wasn't even in the water yet. He got another one, and then I got one. It's waiting for Rylan to get one, but you can see it's beautiful. It's like this marsh, big marshy area on this side, and pine trees on this side of the lake. It's really interesting. These fish are all red band rainbows here. So they go up to Williamson and spawn. They drop back into here to spend most of their life in the lake, natural reproduction. It's a really cool fishery, really shallow water, clear. These fish are all coming in here to get by the springs and by any cool water that's coming in, like creeks, rivers, stuff like that. So it's just a neat fishery. It's beautiful out here. A little bit of smoke today. Had some western fires as usual, but other than that, it's gorgeous out this morning, and the fish are big. I guess the green pumpkin's working also. It's cool, these fish, the way they slurp it. I think they just inhale it, because you don't feel. Oh, Oh, it just came off. Damn it. You don't feel much other than a heavy weight. It just gets heavy, but I lost him.
Get out there.
So
Right out here.
you can
That's
see,
right there.
yeah, get in there, Rylan. Well, he's running a white one, and that one's on the green pumpkin. But you can see it's got that little hologram white on the back. That olive color right there looks a lot like a chub pattern.
One of the things I'm really excited for this trip is to really pick Chad's brain about his fishing, the baits, and really how to work the hookup baits. We fished together and we fished them for steelhead, but never on a still water situation. He's been telling me that there's a certain way that you gotta work these baits to catch and target big rainbow trout. I'm excited to learn.
Chomping on bait. Green pumpkin right in his lip. Yeah. That's a custom hookup bait, isn't it?
No.
Rylan, is this the biggest fish you've ever caught?
The biggest one of the trip before.
Oh wow, that's a big one. Nice work, Rylan. Don't lose them now. See if I can do my net job for you. Oh, that's a big one, buddy. Nice and easy. Yes, you ready?
When I fish with Dennis, I try to learn things, but I always try to show him up. Yeah.
Okay. He didn't even know he's hooked, dude. Now he's gonna freak out. Okay, hold that right there. Holy cow, dude, that's a steelhead. Look at this thing.
Took a little bit of casting, but just down there, it just hooked up, and I was like, this thing's giant, this thing's giant. And it was like the biggest fish, my biggest rainbow trout ever.
There you go. Pull that net out of the way. That thing's a steelhead. Look at the size of that thing. It's a freaking steelhead. Nice work, Rylan. All right. See you, buddy. Boy, they're healthy fish, man. Ooh, there's one blowing up right behind you.
I could catch those all day. Or bigger. That one and bigger. I'm fine.
Probably 8 pounds, I'd say.
Hold on, let me catch this fish first. Little trout. The one thing, like I really dialed in the springs of where these fish hang out. You know, you'll catch a fish here and there as you go, but all of a sudden you'll find a big pile of them. And I've noticed each time I found a big pile of them is where an underground spring would come up. All of a sudden the water would be a little bit clearer and a little bit colder. And those trout just hang around those spots. So you learn where those spots are at, you catch more fish.
You want the net?
Went to reel up, and I seen him following it, so I just stopped and he went, doop. 1/8 brown. These fish been here since the prehistoric days, and they just adapted to how this lake works with the parasites and the algae blooms, and you know where to go when it gets warm. So they adapted over thousands of years to live in this lake where most fish can't live here. Native trout, you know, it's I've been a trout fisherman my whole life. That's been my main thing. I love catching trout, and then finding native trout that are this big and this consistent is hard to find anywhere. So once I started catching these big native trout that are 8 to 12 pounds on a regular, I mean, in multiple a day, that's hard to beat. You can't find that. Native trout means they lived here before we lived here. You know, they've been here when the dinosaurs were here. These trout were living here. So that's a true native trout. And it's still the trout that are surviving in this lake now. The stock trout will not live in this lake. So they have no stocking program at all at this lake. And it was part of the attraction was it kind of has the backstory of Pyramid Lake, Nevada, where those trout been in that lake and they adapted to that lake and only ones that can live in that lake. It's kind of the same story here, but with rainbow trout instead of cutthroat trout. So it was pretty cool how the two lakes are similar in that way.
Chad tells me about these fish have all like sores all over them, and that's part of the adaptation of these red band rainbows. These parasites get on these rainbows that kill most other fish, but these fish have adapted to survive with the parasites. They just see the little wounds on them and evidence that they've been there, but they're thriving.
Forward. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna anchor this right here. Yeah, pop up that back, and then I went to a white, but we both went to 16 thou to try to change it up because we were getting follows. So you see those fish following and following and following. And we had it happen like 10 or I don't know, maybe 15 times. Like follow, follow, follow. Finally, like okay, let's switch. We went different colors and downsized. So we're working them better now. I got smoked my first cast, lost it, and then Chad's on now. As we go through our day, we end up on this big flat, and it's like 4 feet deep. These fish are chasing, but they're not grabbing. So Chad and I put our heads together. We dropped down a size to the 1/8 ounce jigs. We just started hammering fish. We went down one size, which means we went down one weight, and we could effectively swim those jigs over top of those weed beds. Game changer.